This is Virginia Roots, a journey into Appalachian music. One thing that's unique about old-time music is the role of the dancer. It might be called flat-footing, clogging, or buck dancing, but the common thread is that dancers are not just reacting to the band, they're providing percussion. We spoke with world-class percussive dancer Becky Hill and other traditional musicians to learn more.
The story of this dance in particular, and the story of tap dancing, they kind of go hand in hand, mimic sort of the complicated origins of our country. So we also have, like in this dance form, you have Native American, African American, and Scotch-Irish tradition. And we also have to credit like other European traditions or maybe other Latin American traditions that all filter in because we're an immigrant country.
Everybody in the whole interaction is the drummer, basically, right? Because you have the feet and you have just the rhythm of the string band music. There are no drums. Basically, like everything is the drums. When you really get, people call it getting in the groove, or like when the dancers and the band locks in, there's nothing like it because you're giving them energy, they're giving you the energy back, and it's just this really magical way to connect with the people in your community.
The Floyd Country Store, for instance, is such a great example because I feel like the role of that Floyd Country Store isn't about virtuosity. It isn't about like the most virtuosic performer getting out there and owning the space. It's about like one dancer kind of sidling up next to another dancer, and then they have like almost a little conversation on the dance floor, and they like might shuffle or do a little basic, and then they go over and move over to somebody else who's doing it, and then move over. And so like throughout the room during like the Friday night jamboree, people will dance with each other, and they're also sharing this really powerful unison of like shuffle, step, rock, step, shuffle, step, rock, step, like this down, up, down that's happening to especially that sort of Virginia style old time music, which is hard and fast and driving, and everyone's accenting the downbeat. So there's also this amazing like chemistry that happens. People aren't doing the exact same footwork, but they are accenting the same rhythms often. And so there's this like little dialogue that happens.
And I think that there is sometimes a perception that the musicians are playing for the dancer, and the dancer is kind of there to watch, and that the dancer is for show. And I really push back against that perspective on percussive dance, especially flat-foot or freestyle dancing. I really regard percussive dancers as a peer musician who's contributing an equal amount musically to what's happening.
One of my favorite tunes is called Sugar Babe, and the way Ben and I do it, it's like I actually ask me I do less. Like I'm not trying to fill up every single sound. I'm kind of like, well, what is the tune asking me to do? And like maybe the tune is just asking me to go like, like very light, or maybe the fiddle tune is asking me to like hit everything really hard and dance the melody. And so when I think about percussive dance, I think about like, how can I dance like akin to a drum set, similar to a drum set, and I can accent or I can fill in at certain moments, or as a really good drummer can push on the front edge of the beat or sit on the back edge of the beat or lay low or play like almost melodically. And I think that those are the options that I use as a dancer. And so percussive dance, there's so many different ways of dancing in the world, and what I love about it is that there's a sonic resonance. Like I'm also making music and making musical choices. And so I think it's important just to recognize that it still exists, that it isn't something that's outdated or gone or a thing of the past. It's living and breathing and thriving today. And what I think is beautiful about it is it happens in these rural Appalachian communities, but it also happens in cities. It also happens in Tokyo and in Paris and wherever, right? It's here, but it also is something that people all over the world think are unique and is valuable. And I would say Appalachian traditions are one thing, but there's many little worlds of these kind of music and dance traditions throughout the country that are unique and worth celebrating.